Hello, everyone. We're having Pedro Pena. Hello, Pedro. Great to
Hi,
see
good
you.
morning.
Yeah. So it's amazing to have you because I've been listening to your podcasts, watching your videos, and the thing that usually strikes me is your positivity. And that's interesting that when I asked you what would you talk about as the first thing, maybe, or maybe the topic, the thing that you said was positive mindset.
Yes.
So, what I'm saying is that you're doing what you preach about, or like that's the reality. That's the reality. I that I actually see in you. And the first question really I would ask is how maybe do we get there? Like it might seem like be positive, but I think maybe it's not that easy or not that simple.
Right. Oh no, th- th- this actually took me a very long time because my stuttering started at the age of 5 when I had the dog attack, and and right after my speech was at 0%, and then my parents put me in speech therapy all through school. And so what you are hearing right now is over 2 decades of speech therapy. I
Mm,
have done the delayed speech technique. They
mm,
would record me on these long cards and run it through a recorder to hear myself. Did some feedback. One technique that I learned that I still use today is diaphragmatic breathing.
mm.
Because my speech therapist was telling me that I was breathing through my chest. That is shallow breathing. And if you have a speech impediment, it's better to breathe from your diaphragm because as you inhale, and then on the exhale, you can speak, and there are no blocks because you are speaking on the air that is being exhaled.
Oh, got it. Got it.
Although,
Uh-huh.
although, if you speak like that, you sound robotic. And
Mm.
so I had to practice for a long time to have it sound close to normal as I can get. And then I did hypnosis while I
Wow.
was in the military. And let me tell you, that was the first time in my entire life that my entire body was at rest. Because as you know, if you st- stutter, all of your organs are tense. Your
Right.
entire body is locked up.
Right.
Picture this: waking up at 5 a.m. and your body is already tensed up. And then you work the entire day, your body is still tensed up. You come home at 5 p.m. and from 5 a.m. until 5 p.m., your entire body has been tensed up, locked up. And when you get home, you don't want to do nothing but sit on the couch and just
Right.
rest because you are drained uh, physically, you
Right.
are drained emotionally, you are drained psychologically
Right.
because the there are many. crutches, many techniques that I have learned throughout my 43 years of stuttering. And so as we are talking right now, I know there are words coming down the pike that there are a couple that I will have difficulty with. And so I will take those words and replace them with easier words as we are still talking.
Got it. Yeah. So stuttering, like when you get into that um, uh, kind of emotional and physical tension after you've done like a presentation, after that the whole body feels like whew, and um, it needs rest, and yeah,
Okay.
it just gets rest.
Mm-hmm.
mm, so I listened to one of your recent maybe episodes with Joni Clays.
Yes.
And it's interesting that she said that they were inviting you, or they invited you to some event, marketing gathering or something, where you maybe make a presentation, and she never thought about you as a person who stutters, not because you don't stutter, you obviously do, but she didn't attribute stuttering to you like something that defines you.
Right.
And this is, I think, again, the core characteristic that we want to have in life in general, so that we're not focused on stuttering when we speak, but rather on what we're doing, on the message we're on, the connection with another person or the audience. So you touched that. It's been a journey, but what's again, would you advise, what would you say, how to start on that journey to really truly feeling that? Because we can say to ourselves, okay, I won't focus on stuttering, but that moment when we stutter, usually it's kind of, again, we either feel that it's starting to control us because we feel that embarrassment or something, shame, call it whatever, and it starts to control us, or we instead uh, focus on the conversation, on connecting with another person. So what can be done, and what would you advise, maybe again, as the first step on that road?
Well, the most powerful thing that I had learned on this journey when I was in network marketing is you are surrounded by like-minded people. You are surrounded by individuals who are there to only lift you up. They are there to support you, guide you, whatever that you want to do in life or in general. They are 100% behind you. And when you surround yourself with positive people, you can do anything. Because prior, I had people in my circle who were very negative, and they would tell me that I could not do this because of my stutter. I could not go for this job because of my stutter. I could not reach this milestone in my career because of my stutter. And so as you are listening to these people who are around you constantly, you begin to assimilate all of their negativity. And as a stutterer, when you're only focused on the negativity, my speech, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
My speech was just horrible. I mean, I couldn't make a phone call. I could not speak to an individual because I was already so beaten down
Right.
by those negative people around me. And when I got rid of them, and this was a huge milestone in my life, when I got rid of all of those negative people in my life and only surrounded myself with positive people who are just a phone call away, who are there to help and guide you in any way, I didn't care if I stuttered. Who cares if Pedro can't say his name? The world will not stop because I cannot say my name. And when these positive individuals were encouraging me to get on stage, it was a no-brainer. I would I would walk towards the stage, and normally that's when my heart would stop.
Right.
But with all those people in the audience behind you, supporting you, I walked on stage and I spoke in front of 100 people, and it was the best feeling in the world because I never thought that I would be in that position in m- my life, because all that I heard growing up is I will never get a job. I will never get married. I will never have a family. I will never have a successful career. All I should do is just stay home and collect a disability check every single month and just live my life.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's not right. So it's interesting that I believe a huge piece, and you would probably agree, and you actually say that as well, that a huge piece of stuttering is stuttering shame, how we feel about it. Um, and we're dealing with that. And
Every day.
uh, I what struck me, one of the things that struck me is the name of your podcast, which is My Stuttering Life. So again, usually we're trying to hide it somewhere, and we feel shame about shame. We're trying to, like, again, hide everything, not not talk, not feel, not kind of get it out. How did this come to your mind to call it My Stuttering Podcast? Because again, in the nutshell, what we're again, I'm talking about myself, what I'm doing with people who stutter. We're trying to do something with stuttering, and it always feels like something bad, something shameful they cannot talk about. So when you learn a guitar, you meet a friend, you say, oh, I'm learning a guitar, something good to share. But when it says, like, okay, My Stuttering Life, like, it might feel for most people who stutter like something negative, something we want to hide, and you made it open. So how did this idea come to you? And yeah, that's the question, maybe.
Once I once I embraced my stutter, and that took me a very long time to do because, like you previously stated, I had the shame, I had the guilt, but a milestone is when I turned 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I had been stuttering from 5 years old all the way to 40 years old.
Wow.
So I was done. I told myself, enough is enough. I'm not going to care what other people think of my stutter. I'm not going to let their opinions of me become my reality. So when I turned 40, I said, that's it. I'm done. And when I did that, let me tell you, a huge weight. I mean, just it was lifted up. It was gone. It was gone. And I never knew how powerful affirmations are. I see affirmation. I never knew how powerful they were until I was telling myself, Pedro, you're hashtag awesome. You can do this. Who cares what other people think about your stutter? The world will not stop because I cannot say my name. You're Pedro, you stutter, life goes on. The shame, the guilt was gone. And so in my journey in marketing, I in, engulfed myself into personal development. I read books by Les Brown, Jim Rohn, the
Uh-huh.
awesome Mel Robbins, who taught me in her book the 5-second rule is
Yeah.
whatever that I do, I always count backwards in my head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
go. And then I can make a phone call. I can do a presentation. And so at that point, I told myself, there are other people out there. There are other people just like me who feel that they're stuck in their career, in whatever, because of their speech. So I created my YouTube channel and podcast, My Stuttering Life, because in my 43 years of stuttering, going to be 49, no, 44 years, there you go. I have been through so much as a stutterer. I mean, you name it, I've been through it. I failed again, I failed again. But what I learned is from every failure, I learned from it. And so I
Yeah.
applied it to the next one. And so that way, people from around the world, I have followers in Pakistan, I have followers in Poland, Australia, India, who will email me. I thought I was the only one. I want to thank you for having this podcast. I want to thank you for having this YouTube channel because I thought it was only me. I
Right.
thought that I was the only one in the entire world who experienced it, and there was no one to talk to.
Wow.
And, and with naming my podcast, My Stuttering Life, I am just chronicling everything that happened to me to let others know that you could live a positive life as a person who stutters. You can just be you. Just be you. And every single day you wake up, this will be an awesome day. I'm going to hit it head on. If I have hiccups, oh well, life goes on. But I know that there are people around me whom I can reach out, and they are a great support system for me throughout my day, my week, my life. So how can I lose? I can't. It's a win-win.
Got it. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful what you say. Uh, can I ask you about um, this is a bit for me again, like also, if you wish, a speaking exercise, a confidence exercise, self-esteem exercise. What do you feel about the podcast, the videos? So you are speaking, you're interacting, you're creating certain feeling, you're preparing. Do you feel that it's been a good, again, exercise for you, doing the videos, doing the podcasts? Again, speaking wise, confidence wise, self-esteem wise, uh, what do you think? Because I'm trying to get to something people can do in their life. Again, I'm like in the group, I'm suggesting shooting videos. And you mentioned, I think, yeah, you mentioned that you're, for example, talking to the mirror as a practice. So that's the practice with yourself. And when you do the podcast, shoot a video, it's a bit, yeah, shooting a video, it's also kind of with yourself, but you're doing it for somebody. So what would you say, is it also an exercise?
Yes, it is. In doing these videos, in doing the podcast, I find myself that I'm still learning. We are always learning about ourselves and our stutter. And in doing these videos and the podcast episodes, I have been through so much in my life and learned great techniques that I want to get out there to other people who may not have access, who may be having difficulty in one particular area. And maybe one of the techniques that I have learned will help them out. For example, in job interviews, I would practice in front of the mirror for hours, for hours and hours and hours until I got it right. And in the job interview, when I would go in there and I would first disclose that I have a speech impediment.
Right.
But right after that, I tell them I battle with it every day, but every day I win that battle. And then the job interview starts. So by then, I am already ready. My body is prepared. My positive mindset is in go mode. And so I'm ready to answer any of their questions because I took the power back. I took back control. And when I did that, no one can ever tear me down. No one can ever put me down because I am already in that positive mindset. I'm here, I'm ready, so let's go.
I really love what you say, that I fight and I win every day. So that's really powerful. So when you say I win this day, does this mean that, like, I have a plan to do something and I do it no matter how much fear, no matter how much like something negative I might feel when I'm entering that? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah, and that's,
Because,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm sorry. The old Pedro, when I would have a block, it would shut down my entire day. I
Right.
mean, I was literally in a dark room, just on the floor, sitting down, thinking about how dumb am I? How stupid am I? I can't even place an order at a
Right.
fast food restaurant. And that was the old Pedro. But the new Pedro, after I turned 40, those battles, when I would have a challenge, a battle, I I would keep moving forward. And if I had a block, oh well, I kept on moving forward. And in my
Got it.
mind, that is a win. And every single day, I have my good days, and then I have my bad days. But every single day, I do not let it affect me. I go on. I have I have a positive
Got it.
mindset. I am an eternal optimist because the old Pedro, prior to turning 40, I mean, my stuttering caused depression. You know, there was a time in my teenage years where I was in a very dark place. And so I never thought that it would get better. But I learned that there is light at the end of the tunnel. A homeless person told me that. A homeless person told me every life is precious. And every one of us has a purpose in this world.
Wow.
Go find your purpose. Go do it. Do it. Because we're here on this earth for a reason.
Wow.
And after I heard that, at the age of 14, it the darkness went away. And so I focused on, okay, let me graduate high school. And then after high school, let me join the military. I joined the military. I got out of the military. I went to college. I have an I have an undergraduate degree. I have a graduate degree, and now I have a great career. And had I not heard those words, I just I I don't think that I would be here.
Right. Wow. Wow. So the practical thing, because in this interview, we're looking for the practical nuggets for people who start. Like, again, we're thinking, like, oftentimes it feels like people are talking about their journey. I've been there, but I went like through that, and now I'm here. And many people think, okay, yeah, he's done his journey, he's there, but I'm still here. How do I go that journey? And usually it all comes down to the first step, which is maybe like small, but in reality it's half of the way, because usually it's all about how hard to make the first step, even though it might be tiny, but it's so hard that in reality it takes like half of the whole journey energy, if you wish, or something. So what I love what
Right.
you're saying, which to me sounds like a very practical mindset, to see that I'm winning this day, and there's always an option to give in to our fear, or call it whatever, and not do what you want to do, or do it. And if you do it, that's a win. That's a big win. Yeah.
Right. Because we are we're in our comfort zone every day. And and prior to turning 40, I stayed in my comfort zone. I never took my foot out
Right.
and go outside of my comfort zone because I knew something bad was going to happen.
Right. There is danger.
Ruin, yes. Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
And so after I turned 40, I said, I am going to step out of my comfort zone just a little bit every single day. And when I did that, I gave myself a daily win. I won that day.
Wow.
It can be a little thing, a
Wow.
tiny thing. But when you do that, you are building every single day your confidence. And there is a great author, and he's my new friend. His name is Rama Siva.
Yeah.
He wrote a book regarding self-confidence. And
Uh-huh.
so with every daily win, I was getting better and better and better. And so that way, if there was a huge obstacle, a huge battle that I knew was coming down the pike, I was going to be all right because I had been building up towards it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep moving forward. And if I fail, that's all right. I'm going to learn from that and apply it to the next battle, the next challenge. So by stepping out of your comfort zone, it can be just a little thing. And if you can do that every single day, those are daily wins that have helped me in my life as a stutterer.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually, you're saying exactly. We had an interview recently with Chase Gillis. His whole topic was about discomfort and getting outside of the comfort zone, which is exactly what you're saying. So again, this is a very practical thing, even though it seems like something conceptual. We think about practical stuff as something speaking tricks or techniques or something, but this is a very practical thing as you are sharing it. But because as you shared, you tried many techniques, and that's the truth. We're trying to do something with our speaking, as that's where stuttering shows up. But yeah, there are some deeper levels where it still lives. It's not seen, but it's there. So that's interesting what you're saying. So in terms of the speaking stuff, the thing that you liked was the breathing with the diaphragm, from the diaphragm, but it's not very practical when you're already speaking. So I mean, it's not something you can do all the time. That's what you
Right.
said.
Because as you are speaking on your breathing, you
Right.
sound robotic, and at some point you're going to have to
Yeah. Yeah.
work on it. And so that way it sounds where it becomes more normalized
Right.
for you.
Right. Right. Actually, as you showed it, when you're breathing out and you're saying the phrase, at that point, it's not yet robotic, but yeah, I agree that our speaking is anyway a bit broken. That's why it's easier to sing, because singing is like a rhythm, bum, 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 bum. Singing always has a certain pattern, and you go it
Right.
again and again and again. And as you show, like, you're breathing it out and you're saying it, but then you have to repeat it and then you're breathing something and saying it, right? So it creates
Exactly.
like when you go like with that pattern, it's inside the pattern, like inside it, it doesn't sound maybe robotic. At least it didn't sound when you said it, but to create that all the time, maybe it's a bit hard. I'm not sure how your like um, therapist was presenting that, but yeah, mm, mm, I got you.
Mhm.
So I think we cover. If you give me just 1 second, actually, I wanted to ask you. You covered that pretty much, but still, when you feel bad, maybe not because of your speaking, but in general, because life is not only the speaking, right? What do you say to yourself? How do you get yourself up back to life?
All right. So we all have that voice in our heads. I have a negative voice that pops up from time to time. I call him Oscar.
Oscar.
And so if I am pre, pre if I am presented an opportunity for anything, Oscar always pops up. You
Right.
can't do that. Pedro, remember, Pedro, sweet Pedro, you can't do that.
Right. Right.
You stutter. Hello, are you awake in there? Hello, you can't
Right.
do that. But what I learned is I shut Oscar down. I tell Oscar to shut up, and when he's gone, I move on. And we've all had that negative voice that just beats us down
Right.
on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. in,
Yeah.
in my life, on every hour, on the hour. Because as a stutterer, every single interaction is a challenge. Every time I look at the phone, my heart beats a little bit faster. And then Oscar pops up. Don't do it. You can't do it. And when I shut him down and count backwards, thank you, Mel Robbins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I answer the phone. I got it. I got it.
Got it.
So we all have that negative voice in us. Give it a name. Give it a name. And
Right.
once you have done that, shut it down. Call
Right.
it whatever you want, but I call mine Oscar because growing up, I watched Sesame Street,
Uh,
big with Big Bird, Bert and Ernie, and there was always Oscar the Grouch. Oscar
mhm.
the Grouch lived in a trash can.
Got it.
He was always angry, always negative. I mean, everything that came out of his mouth was
Got it.
negative. And so I named my negative voice inside my head Oscar. And so when he pops up, I tell him to shut up because I'm going to do this. And I do it.
Wow. That's a huge psychological exercise. It might seem like some people might say, though, that's childish, what a stupid thing. But this is a psychological thing because our brain works, in concepts, in words, in some reality. There is not like when we're born, we don't have the language, we don't have those, concepts in mind, nothing, right? But then
Right.
we recreate that, and actually, when again the negative thought, that bad thing comes, it's real, and we
Mhm.
need to deal with it, make it like real, and this is an exercise to make it real, to make it
Right.
and to actually deal with that. Otherwise it's attacking me from somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's controlling me, and that's it.
Right.
I'm becoming that thing. So we kind of separate that. That's Oscar, or yeah, we can call it differently, but that's something. And then we start communicating with that something. Wow.
Right. And all those people who tell you that is childish, those are negative people.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
even have them in my
yeah,
circle.
yeah.
You know,
Actually, yeah, that's Oscar in my head
mhm.
starts talking about it. Actually,
Right.
yeah, that's the like people. That's actually Oscar in our head talking to that to us. So
Yeah.
I wonder, have you learned that somewhere, or it's your like your thing that you came up with, or you learned it somewhere?
During the years of speech therapy and going through my journey of personal development, I I've always had that negative voice, but I never gave it a name. And once I did that, again, I took back control. I will not let Oscar run my life. I will not let Oscar dictate every step that I make. Because if I did that, I would not be where I am today. I would
Right.
still be in that dark place. No one's going to hire me. I will never have a career. I will never get married. I will never have a successful life if I keep listening to that negative voice. And once I gave it a name, I took back the power. I took back the control, told him to shut up, and that I was going to do whatever I planned to do. No one is going to stop me. I'm Pedro. I stutter. Guess what? Life goes on. But I will keep moving forward. If you if you tell me something negative that I cannot do, you are not in my circle. And I say bye-bye. I don't need you in my circle. I only have positive people. And it's so powerful. I can't tell you how powerful it is to have people around you who support you no matter what. They will lift you up. Whatever you want to do, it's just amazing because you can do it. I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
did it because I never thought in a million years that I would ever be on video. Never.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So thank you so much, Pedro. It's a great pleasure having you.
Thank you, Andre, for having me on. This has been a true honor and privilege to let other people know who stutter that you are not alone. You have all of us. You have us as a support group. If you're having a hard time, reach out. That's why we're here, because I can only speak for myself. I've probably been through it, with
Right.
dating, job interviews. I mean, I've been through it. So you are not alone. We're all in this together. And however that we can help, I'm here.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pedro. And yeah, I'll stop our live.